Alright gang, welcome back to our vanilla survival with a twist on Maypole Farms. It is August still. We did not jump months. We are still in the process of trying to take down some more trees here. And I've already been kind of working on it a little bit off camera. Now, full transparency with all of you, I am doing this recording immediately after the last one, so I have not saw any kind of posts of any sort of if you liked this or didn't like it, whatever. Anyway, we are in the second episode of that. And so I won't know if you had made a comment or whatever, and you might be saying, why did you not respond to my comment? That's the reason why, is because I'm doing this one immediately after the other one. So I just haven't had a chance to see it yet because the first one hasn't been released yet. How's everyone doing today? I hope you're doing well. Things are good, man. Things are really good. I'm excited about this series. I think it's going to be a blast. You know, really what I would love to do today, I mean, the Zed Tour is kind of calling my name. We only have 15,000, but I think there's a chance we could get there today. Really, I talked about in the last episode how we were going to do allow more than one episode per month. I might put a bit of a rule on there that says we're only allowed to do 2 episodes per month. I'm not 100% set in stone on that rule, but I might put that rule into play. We will see. I think I probably will, honestly. The more I think about it, I think I probably will. That way we prevent from, just staying in the same month because there's something specifically you really, really want out there on ModHub or wherever, on the used market, I guess I should say. That kind of helps prevent that from happening, right? So I think we will. I think we'll put a limit on it. But anyway, how's everyone? I hope you're doing well. The Zed Tour is definitely something I would love to have. I'm not sure if it's going to work out in our favor or not, but I would love to have that. If we can't get that today, I mean, the other idea really is to try to get all of these trees taken away and get enough money together so we can buy, hopefully a tractor in the next episode, right? But really, the goal should be to try to get that Zed Tour. That Zed Tour is a good price. It's more than half off what the normal price is. It should be able to pull our stump grinder, which will get us to the next stage here, which is turning this little area here into a bit of a yard. There's going to be a lot of work that's going to need to be done to turn this into a yard. Once we actually got in here and got all of this chopped away, you can see it's on a bit of an incline here. So, probably not the best the best area to put a yard, if I'm honest with you, but if we can get it set up where there's just one little shed on it or something, to store a couple of the things that we're going to eventually have that really should be undercover, then I think we're going to be okay, right? Because this is more of a long-term temporary, I know that's contradictory, but a long-term temporary, almost like a long-term injured reserves list, long-term temporary yard area, right? Eventually, our goal is going to be to move on somewhere else, and then this will probably just be extra space on the side over here, and then, the main area where all the trees are behind us that we haven't started, chopping down yet, that will more than likely be, some kind of a field, right? A small field of some sort. That's the goal, at least. But we can't, we can't really get there until we've got all of these trees gone, and we've got enough money to do so, right? These trees are really going to play the pivotal role on, what we're going to be able to accomplish. So realistically, a quick autosave here. Sorry about that. I'm doing this in the same setting, like I mentioned, right? But there are some, smaller type of yards. Like this one's only 39,000. Like that's not bad. Like we could almost get that. We could probably get that today, honestly. But we'll see, right? You get the point. We'll see. First thing, really, as mentioned already a couple of times, the first thing really we should be focusing on is a tractor, because we can't do anything really without a tractor, right? We can continue to do what we're doing now, which is great, but eventually we are going to need a tractor. You're definitely going to need a tractor for the stump grinding at a bare minimum. If we want to turn any of this into any kind of an arable field of any sort, or any kind of a crop field of any sort, right? We gotta have to have a tractor. There's no way around that one. And it's just such a great deal in the used market that it's hard not to aim for that today. We've got a long way to go to get there. We've only got $15,000. Now, granted, I can sell the truck, like I said, but if we sell the truck, then we have no way to transport the logs. So we'd have to get a trailer too. So, yeah, we'll see how things move along, I guess, today is how I should put it. But we're gonna attempt to try to make enough money, hopefully, off the trees here to get that tractor. And I don't even know if my members have made a comment on the video or anything. I don't know. I don't know that either. It's a shameless plug for my members there, but they do get early access to videos like this one. You get to see it early before it's actually released to everyone else. And since I recorded these at the same time, I don't even know what they've said, honestly, so... Not going to be able to fit much more, I don't think. We're definitely going to be able to fit some, but I don't think we're going to be able to fit much more. I don't know how many more trees we have to cut down over there. I don't know how many more of those we're allowed to cut down. That we might not be able to go the whole distance there. I think we can, but we might not be able to. So, probably need to be cognizant of that fact here, that some of these trees here on the edge, like these right here, we might not be able to cut these. I don't know for sure if those are in my land or not, because it kind of, I mean, this could have just been me, I guess, but it kind of, to me, looks like that might be the extent of our land, if you will. These small trees like this, I don't think they're really worth a ton of money, but it's great to have them because we can easily pick them up and throw them on top, right? They're super easy to put up there. They're not really going to cause any kind of harm, I guess is how I should put it. Now, this guy is moving, so it might be difficult for me to chop this, but... yeah, it's not going to let me, We're going to figure out something else for that, I guess. It's not going to let me, Okay, can I please? Thank you. That might be too large. The spruce tree, they're normally pretty heavy. So this might be too large. I don't know. That is definitely too large. I was kind of afraid of that. I know these guys, they're very, very, they're a very thick tree as far as the actual, you know, wood inside of it. It's not like a hollow type of tree. Let me see if I can... Is it still moving? It looks like it finally stopped. Of course it finally stopped after I started to cut the spruce tree. Of course it did. And this thing is just wanting to spin around in circles. Alright, I'm going to try to reset this here. Can you stop spinning? Please? Okay, just keep spinning. That's fine. Whatever. Don't listen to me. Nope. Okay. Didn't think that was going to work. All right, we might be at capacity here, gang. Yeah, I think we're at capacity. And these trees are dancing around, so let's take and sell this load. Nope, that one just came flying out. That's fine. Alright, we're at 22,000, so we need 53 for the bare minimum. I would love to get the Michelin wide tires on here, but that's going to be 58. Maybe we'll get there. Maybe we'll get there, but that's, I mean, I probably shouldn't be trying to focus on just what I want. I should probably just try to focus on being able to get the tractor first and foremost, right? That's probably the most important thing. Can I get the tractor? And then from there, we can try to make the upgrades as we move along, right? That's probably the better approach here, but... anyway. Alright, so there's that. I'm going to grab this one here, too. We're going to try to put it on the other side, hopefully, if it works. May work, may not. I don't know. I don't think I could do that again if I tried. Dropped it on top of another stump. Yeah, that's not going to fit there, is it? Nope, 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 nope. Okay, can I squeeze it in this way? I think so. I think so. Perfect. Alright, let's see if we can get this guy chopped down a little more here so we can actually grab it now that it stopped doing its dance. Actually, it's still dancing, but it's not dancing as much as it was. Okay, that's still too large for some reason. Weird. Wouldn't expect that. So I am still going to attempt as much as I can, gang, to not put any kind of a time-lapse in for you, at least as much as possible, when it comes to doing this type of stuff. I did do one in the first episode. Obviously, you've probably saw it by now. I tried to keep it at a slower pace. I don't know if you know, in the edit, it didn't look too bad. I haven't really, full transparency, I haven't really watched it back since the edit. Maybe I should have. But it didn't look terrible in the edit. I guess it could look different on screen. Maybe I need to slow down even more. Basically, the way that I go about making videos is, normally at least, I do a video and then I try to edit it as much as I can. It doesn't always work this way, but I try to edit it the same day. Like I'll, record it and then I get it up, I start uploading it into my editing system and then start editing it then. And then once the edit and everything is done and it's trying to process it and turn it into an actual video, at that point I'll start recording another one whenever I have the time, of course. That's normally what I try to do, and that's what I did here. So that's why I'm saying it didn't look too bad in the edit, but I guess I will hear from all of you one way or another on if it was too much or not. I know a lot of other people do record with almost a full speed time lapse for forestry and woodworking, but it's just my personal preference to not do that. I mean, really, maybe I won't do any more at all if you guys hate it. I don't know, but I just feel like sometimes I think I kind of rambled about this in a recent episode on the Aqua Farm series, but I kind of feel like sometimes I run out of things to talk about, I guess is how I'll put it. I don't know why it wouldn't stop for some reason. It was like glitched. I run out of things to talk about sometimes, and that's normally why I throw a time lapse in, right? Gives me a break. I can take a couple drinks as well. And I can try to see what else I want to bring up or talk about to you that maybe I haven't done so yet. Man, I am not making these. I'm making these too large. These big trees. These are ones you would love to actually, be able to pull there as a full tree. Make a lot of money. So, normally that's the reason why you see a time lapse is because I've run out of things to talk about, or I'm doing something that really it's going to take a while and it would just be better fitted to be in a time lapse form, right? But for a series like this, when you're starting out in the survival setup and you have to do a lot of forestry work that is not, utilizing a winch. I think a winch isn't too bad on a time lapse. I just think it just doesn't come off as well because of just the speed that you have to speed the time lapse up to and running around all over the place. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is if I don't put in any more time lapses, which I may or may not, it might be a little bit of quiet area, or quiet. What's the word I'm looking for? Quiet area is not the word I'm looking for. There just might be some drawn out pauses or emptiness or white space or whatever you want to call it in the episode because I've just run out of things to talk about and I'm not just going to keep on rambling, I guess. Right? I don't know. Maybe it makes sense. Maybe it doesn't. If it does, hopefully it does. If it doesn't, well, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you then. The most recent episode of the competitive one-tile challenge series should... Let's see. Let me see if I don't know. I'm getting my schedules all mixed up lately. I think this one will be out on Monday or Tuesday. So the most recent one-tile challenge should be out then. I would not have recorded it by now, so I have no idea what we did in there, but I've got some ideas. I don't really want to specifically state anything here in case you haven't watched that yet or if you want to watch it. But I highly recommend it if you just stumbled across this and haven't watched that series. I really think you will enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. It's like a competition. It's a competitive one-tile challenge. One-tile challenge is a challenge I came up with earlier this year. Probably by far my most successful challenge that I've come up with because so many different people took on the challenge. Even people that are extremely famous in the Farming Simulator world knew about it, which is pretty impressive and unbelievable to me. I never thought that would ever happen. So anyway, we took that and decided to turn it into a competition. I had talked about that for quite a while, that I would love to see it in a competition form. Well, we've accomplished that. Doing that with my friends Rusty Money Gaming and Crustu, which check them out as well if you haven't done so. It's a lot of fun, man. We are having a lot of fun with it. We are harmless sabotaging of each other quite often. You know, whether I just do some random donuts or we just run into each other or whatever it may be. I've got some other things up my sleeve that we're going to be doing. We need a little bit more money in the bank account before I start feeling confident to try to do some of the other things that I want to do. Again, harmless, but I need some money to do these harmless things. Which we don't currently have, right? So, right now we're all struggling to try to get, our farms put together and figure out which way we're going to go with our farms and figure out which way we're going to make money and all that good stuff. And it's definitely a struggle, man. We are all struggling at this point. I know in the well, I guess it wouldn't have been the last episode at this point, but the episode before that, I do know Crustu had hit the negative, which when he ended the episode, I think he had the most money, which was crazy. So he made some major changes to get to that point, but he was in the negative for a while. So there's been struggles across the board, I guess is what I'm trying to get at from all of us. Definitely been struggles. I think I'm the one struggling right now. I think we're in a good spot, but as far as money goes, I'm the one definitely struggling right now. All right, I think we might be hitting our peak here. So I'm going to go take this. The rest of that we'll put it into another trailer. We still got those 3 trees to knock down, and then, well, not to knock down. The 3 trees we already have knocked down, and then quite a few more over there I think that we need to chop down as well, so. Alright, we're at 26. We're getting closer, gang. We're not there yet, but we're getting closer. We're about halfway. Yeah, about halfway there. Now, I'm considering actually, and if talking about the competitive one-tile challenge, I'm considering actually putting in some trees here. I think it's a good approach. We can maybe scatter these kind of on the outside edge of things. What I'm really considering doing, which is probably a little crazy, but I'm really considering doing, if it lets me do it, which I think it will, is trying to plant some of the trees with the goats. Really shouldn't harm them too much. It might lose a little bit of the meadow grass to an extent, but if I just kind of put it on the outside edge as a natural tree, a natural fence, if you will, right? If I kind of line the outside edges with them, I mean, that might be the way to go, right? That might be the way to go. Make some natural fence lines with the trees. Oh my gosh, I made that just slightly too big to fit down. No way. Wow, okay. Well, nothing I can do about it now. I guess we're going that way. So I'm still trying to decide, but I do think that is probably the smart approach. Now, the problem really is right now, we don't have the money to buy a planter, right? Crustu has, I know he had bought a planter at one point. I'm not sure if he rebought it. I think he did. I think he rebought it again. I think he planted some trees and then sold it again because it was out in the used market. So there is a little bit of savings by buying that, right? But I do think it's still around $25,000. And with that series, at current, we don't have $25,000, right? So, I don't know what to do. Don't know what to do. Maybe we can figure something out. You know, I don't know if we're going to have enough silage to sell to get to there, but maybe if we sell some of the silage, we're going to have some pumpkins ready. Maybe if we sell some pumpkins, some of the silage, maybe if we sell some of the eggs, maybe we can reach it then? I don't know. I mean, it could. Maybe it's not even out there by the next episode, too, right? I could be thinking about all this, and then the next episode comes, and it's not in the used market anymore, which would be awful. But you know, I think that's the other kind of cool thing about doing this multiplayer, right? I really haven't done. I've done one other episode, one other kind of multiplayer approach. It wasn't a series of any sort, but I did some multiplayer with a friend of mine. But other than that, I really all I've done with Farming Simulator and the multiplayer. So definitely not in any kind of a series or a competition of any sort on the channel. This is the first for that. But I think, yeah. The more I think about that, the more I like that idea. Maybe we should put those trees down. Because really, I could buy that planter used, right? Put down the trees I need and then resell it, and I might only, you know, lose a tiny bit of money in the process of buying and reselling that, right? Most of that I probably will just break even on. Besides the cost of the tree saplings, of course, right? I'm kind of leaning towards doing this, gang. I've kind of talked myself into it here, haven't I? I just don't know how I'm going to get there. I've got to get there before Rusty does, too. I guess I don't have to. Maybe Rusty would do the same thing. Or maybe he'll keep it, right? To cause mayhem. I don't know. Probably wouldn't keep it, though. I mean, if Crustu's done with it, which I feel like he is. I feel like I saw him putting some trees down. So if he's done with it, and, you know, Rusty's not going to do anything with trees, then maybe he doesn't care. Man, I keep thinking these are going to be small enough for me to pick up, and they're just not. So I'm making it worse by chopping them in a smaller fashion. Oh well. If we can figure out a way to get to $25,000 in the next episode of the competitive one-tile challenge, which, like I said, it's probably already over by now. It's probably already out by now. Then I probably will go the approach of buying that and putting down some trees. I hope. I don't know if they will, but I'm hopeful that it'll even allow me to do it where the goats are. There's a chance that it may not allow me to do that, right? There's probably a high chance that it may not allow me to do that. It might say that, you know, there's something already here, it's overlapping. Maybe I should go test that. I think we might have a plan. A plan! Yeah, I think we might have a plan here, gang. Said I'm trying not to do a time lapse this time, just in case you all yelled about the first one, since I don't know for sure what the you know, the decision was, I guess is how I'll put it. Well, I knew that was going to work, or I knew that wasn't going to work, is what I meant to say. All right, that'll work for the time being. All right, these are finally not on top of each other anymore. These are really big trees, man. These are really big trees. As long as we can continue to make $5,000 or $6,000 every time we go and sell these, I think we're going to be okay. I want to keep stacking these up. I want to get more on top of there. I want to make less trips. We're starting to get pretty high up there. We can get a few more, though. I'm not allowed to cut that tree. Of course I'm not. Alright, let me see. This is probably not going to be the... I'm not really going to be able to see anything here either. I was hoping I might be able to push these, you know, over, if that makes sense, so I can actually cut them. But, like that. Just like that. That's what I was hoping for. So we'll focus on that one, and then we'll try to move the other one after that, I guess. Okay, what else we can talk about? We can talk about the Agroforest Mountain Survival Series. That one is, we're making better progress. I've made some modifications in Episode 2, so if you haven't checked that out, I also recommend you check that out. I think you'll like it. And actually, a bit of a spoiler, I guess, but not really. You know, oh, we're still not allowed to cut that tree? Really? Really? All right, well, see, some of these we're going to have this issue with, right? I probably should have cut them the other way, which is... You know, mistake on me, but whatever. So that Mountain Survival Series, we actually were able to get rid of some, not all, most, I guess is how I should put it, of the rocks on there. So it is going to make it a little bit easier and hopefully help us out in regard to, you know, turning those pieces of land into some kind of an arable area, right? So that's definitely going to help. But we can't get rid of all of them. And then there are some like decorative like stump like and tree logs. We can't get rid of those either as far as I can tell. I've tried multiple things. I tried going into the construction menu and just deleting them. I tried utilizing the stump grinder or the tree devour mod on it. I tried utilizing pretty much everything to get rid of it. And they won't go away. So... Those, evidently, are still going to be a problem for us. But it is what it is, right? There's not much we can do about it. We're just going to have to work around it. And like we've already talked about, you know, if worse comes to worse, we can always go the grape route. That is definitely something we can do. Now, I don't think these trees are on my property. Okay, I was wrong. I stand corrected. They are on my property, which is weird. I was not expecting that. I thought my property kind of ended right in this vicinity. But that's evidently not the case, so we'll take it. We'll take it. Now, this one, surely isn't on my land. Surely not. Yeah, okay, there we go. Alright, so, this one has to be on my land too then, I would think, right? Although I'm not positive if I want to get rid of this one right here. I kind of like this one tree by itself. I think I'm going to leave this one right now. It might be weird to say that, but I think I'm going to leave that one there. Yeah. We might get rid of it later, but right now I think I'm going to leave it. I'm going to try to utilize it as a bit of a design aesthetic to our yard area. Doesn't mean we can't put more down. We could certainly just buy some more or just plant some more directly from the construction menu, but... This is going to be a bit of a mess here for a minute, but we're going to get it all cleaned up here, gang. It'll be much easier to see once we get these branches off. Trying to think of some other things to talk about, gang. This is why I do time lapses. This is exactly the reason why. I don't have much. I'm kind of out of things to talk about. Although I probably talked. Well, I mean, it's not even I probably. I did talk a ton in the first episode, right? So I guess that makes a lot more sense why I don't have a whole lot to talk about. It might be easier if I take a day off between these episodes, but I wanted to get 2 of them done. I probably won't have this one edited, anytime soon. But the first one will definitely be ready and uploaded pretty quickly, I think. Alright, we're almost done clearing these twigs out of here. It's not going to be perfect because we're going to have some trees that are on top of each other, right? And it's going to be difficult to get rid of stuff when that's the case, but as long as we get rid of most of it and it's easier to see, then I think we're okay. Makes my life easier. Makes the viewability of the actual series better, too, because you can see what's going on. Alright, that's good enough. That's good enough. Alright, so we've got a pretty full tree there. Pretty full truck there. I think there's still a little bit of room for us to be able to try to manipulate, but, and by manipulate I mean add some more to it, right? Manipulate the actual amount I can hold. Alright, so I can pick up this whole thing. I am going to attempt to try to move this tree along, just like we just did, if it lets me do it. Pretty much got there. There we go. Alright. I still think it's going to say that I can't do anything with that, but at least I got it where I can actually see them, right? So I don't forget about them being in that yard. And hopefully no issues happen with the the workers and things like that, or the computer, or just the general game itself glitching out, because that would have been in the way, right? I don't think any of these other trees I can pick up besides maybe this one. Yep, this one can be done, so we'll pick this one up. Actually, this one might not be able to get out of there right now. We might have to wait a minute. Nope, we did get it. We got it. All right, the rest of those are not going to be ones I can pick up. So let's go sell these, and then we can start working on those other ones that are really remaining for this section. Hopefully, all of these will get us to the amount where we can buy that Zator. Or Zetor, however you want to say it. All right, there's another almost $6,000. Do you think we have another 5 loads over there of those trees, or are we going to have to cut some more down? I'm kind of leaning towards probably having to cut some more down now that I look at this a little bit closer, right? Maybe not, though. Some of these are those really big ones. It doesn't mean we get to chop them down in tiny, tiny, tiny squares, but... Tiny squares. You know what I meant. It doesn't mean we're going to have to chop them down in tiny... almost... Yeah, like almost, firewood type size, right? For a big piece of log. A lot of times you would take a log like this and then you would take an axe to it or something and chop it into 3s, right? Man, we are already 36 minutes into this episode. It does not feel like 36 minutes, man. It really doesn't. This is flying by. This does not feel like 36 minutes at all. I'm not sure we're going to be able to get to the tractor here, gang. I think we're going to run out of time. We're already 37 minutes in. I mean, I'm going to be doing this for another hour and a half if we want to hit to the Zetor. Which I would love to get to. I'm just being real. Right? It's going to be difficult. I guess if I get rid of the truck, then we could get it. I guess we could go that approach. But then, like I mentioned, we've got to get a trailer. So can we do all that? Can we get a winch? Let's think about this for a minute here. So 53,865, it looks like it's going to go out of the market here soon too. So we got to get on this. How much is our truck worth? I mean, I'd like to keep our truck, but we can always buy it back later, right? Doesn't mean we have to keep it for right now. So it's worth 21. So we could almost buy it right now. The tractor, I mean. So I guess what that means to me is we need to get going here as fast as we possibly can. Get more of these trees loaded up here. Go and get them sold. And then kind of go from there. A winch, which is really, I think, the best approach for us right now. A winch, because we could just pull it right across the street. 8,500 for the cheapest one. It can only pull 6.6, whereas this one can pull 8.6 tons. So really, you probably want the bigger one, but the bigger one is, I mean, the bigger one is so much more expensive, though, right? Early on, it might be just beneficial for us to go for this, which is 6.6 tons. Which, in theory, we should make a lot more money off of. And that would be fantastic, that little truck right there. I guess the question becomes, right, we start with this little truck, which is fantastic, and I like it. I don't necessarily want to get rid of it. But once we get to a point, right, where we've got a tractor and we've got all this other stuff going on, are we ever going to use it again? I mean, in a series like this, the odds are no, right? The odds are no. So I think when you factor that in and you start thinking about that, I guess, I think getting rid of it is the smartest play here, just so we can get an actual tractor. I think that is a good progression, right? Started off at the very beginning of the very first episode, the beginning of the series itself. All we had was a chainsaw, a trailer to our name, plus a stump grinder that we couldn't utilize at that time. And then, as we move along, we sold the truck and got a tractor, which is going to be much more beneficial to us in the long run than this truck would be. This truck has been great for us for the time being, but, as mentioned, it's likely to serve its purpose here, at least probably, if I was to continue to keep it, it probably would, end its service life, at least for what we're trying to accomplish here, within 5 to 10 episodes at the most, or at the least. No, I'm wording that completely wrong. It would probably have its service life finished within 5 to 10 episodes. That's how I should have put it. Meaning, the odds of us utilizing after that 5 or 10 episode has surpassed would be minimal to none, right? It would be the odds in Vegas, if you were to gamble on it, would be like the odds for whatever the worst team is in whatever sporting event or sport that you like to watch, right? If you were to bet on that team to, win whatever the championship is, whether it's the Stanley Cup or the World Series or whatever, right? Are there a couple like odd jobs that it could do for us? Yeah, I would think so. But like I said, it's not like we couldn't just, buy it back later on. There's going to be a point in time, it's not going to be anytime soon, but there's going to be a point in time in this series where we've clearly succeeded and we've got lots of money and we could always buy it back then, right? I do think that's the best way to go here, gang. I really do. Yeah, I really do. Now, I think what I would like to try to do in this series, well, evidently I made that too long, which is, I wouldn't have thought so, but I guess I did. What I'd like to do in this series is, for this arable land over here that we're talking about, I'm not sure what we will utilize, but I'd like to try to do maybe something different than we normally do. I'm not saying that we won't do any kind of cereal crop of any sort at some point. I'm very positive that we will, but if we're able to do something different over here, that might be cool to see, right? We haven't done onions yet. I think I might do those in their Survive 25 series for the third farm, maybe? I'm not set in stone on that. If we don't do that, then we could do onions here. So that's an option. However, some of those are, pretty expensive. So the biggest problem with, a series like this, and it's always been the problem with a series like this, is, you've got to be smart with your money, and that means some things like probably onions, for example, are probably not the best thing to start with, because all of that is pretty expensive, right? Now, another idea I was considering for this series before I decided to go the way that I did, after I had decided that I was going to turn it into an actual challenge, a competitive survival, or not competitive, a survival challenge. I had thought of another approach to take, which was to not start with the truck, to only start with the chainsaw and nothing else, and have to by hand carry them across the street. That would be something, right? Maybe down the road, maybe we will try something like that. I think that would be almost a little bit too much. It probably wouldn't be that exciting to watch, at least for the first handful of episodes. I don't think I'd really be able to get much for quite a while, because it would be chopping one, and I'd be literally running this across the street. Come back, chop one, run across the street. Come back, chop one. I mean, it would be so long before we were able to do anything at all. See, at least with this, while it's not the most ideal setup, we are able to stack quite a lot of logs on top of that truck, right? We are able to speed up our progress, if you will. I think we're getting pretty full here again. Probably can stack more on here, honestly. But we're getting there. Just gotta do the little jump trick. We're gonna go sell these. Probably are really gonna need to sell at least one, maybe two more trailer loads here to be able to get the winch, right? We need one more. We need one more. I don't know if this is the right approach to be going with or not, gang. I mean, somebody I'm sure will make a comment about it. I just, in my eyes, with that Zator out there, it just doesn't make sense to not try to go that approach, to kind of change the initial thoughts and get that instead of getting a smaller tractor. Smaller tractor, nothing wrong with a smaller tractor, but I just think this is going to be a huge help, especially early on in the series start here. It's very lucky that it's even out there. Man, these things are just ridiculous. I feel like that's like we've chopped down other trees that same size, and there's no problem to pick that up. But for whatever reason, these ponderosa pines are just so much heavier. Hold on a second. Let me get into turn all those straps off, I'm going to try to realign this guy here. Because I feel like this guy should be able to fall in there. Yep, there we go. There we go. Alright, let's be a little smarter here, Z. Let's try to keep it more reasonably sized here for a while, since it's saying that that is too large every time we chop it down. Once we get rid of these stumps, man, it's going to be so nice to have this yard area already set out, right? We can actually store some stuff here. It's going to be so nice. See, like that to me looks like it would be heavier than those other ones we were picking up, but I guess not. I guess not. Okay, so that's done. So I'm going to start working on this tree. I'm not sure we're going to be able to get rid of the stumps today, gang. We are already 54 almost minutes in at this point. Without a time lapse of any sort, so that's normally a lot longer than any episode that I do. I've said that many times before that my episodes I try to keep 30 to 45 minutes. That's just based off of, what YouTube tells me I should do as far as interaction with how many people watch and et cetera, et cetera. Not that I have to stay to that. I don't, but if they're telling me that that is where I get my best metrics at, then I'm gonna try to do that. But here early on, I think it makes sense for us to kind of continue on right now because we're making some good progress here. We've got a real good chance, I think, of getting that Z tour today. So I feel like we should aim for it and try to get it here before we end. So we'll do a longer episode than what you would normally expect, and probably a lot of quiet time in the episode just because I don't know what else to talk about. Man, these things are really wanting to dance right now. All right, so let's grab this tree, and then we're going to grab that other one over there that we started to... we will be cut, and it was too large. We'll cut that one down again and throw it up here. And I think we'll go and sell them, and then I think at that point we'll head up to the shop and sell the truck, and hopefully get the tractor. Hopefully have enough money for a winch, too. Now, I could keep doing that, keep doing the hop, jump thing up there on top, and then strap it in the middle of the jump. It does work. But, I mean, we're getting... Alright, that one didn't work. There we go. Alright, so we're going to sell this, and then the remainder will hopefully be pulled over with a winch. Now, I can see the winch probably having some issues, too. If the cars going across, there's a chance those cars are going to drill the winch. 43. That should get us there. Yes, it's still there. That should get us there. 43. 53, 63, 64, basically, is what we're going to get for the truck. And that should give us enough money for the winch, too. So, yeah. Not really what I was hoping for. I was hoping to keep the truck the entire time, and really, I guess I could keep going at it right now. I could probably do another couple of loads and get there, but I do think from a perspective of what's the easiest way for us to be able to move forward with the series, this is the way to go, right? And again, I already talked about this a number of times. I just don't see a true use case here for the truck as we move forward. Scarlett's going to slam on the brakes in a minute. Yep, there she goes. Slamming on the brakes. So, since there's no true use case in my eyes for this, better off just to sell it. I mean, we could put some crop in the back, right? Where are we going here? How much further do I have to go? I don't even remember how far. It's pretty far away. You could definitely put some probably crop in the back of it. But it would be a small amount, right? Actually, I don't even know for sure if it would even let you put it in the back or not. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. With the vanilla, it may not. It probably won't. Alright, so we're going to sell this. Now, where do I sell this at? Wrong one. It must be right here. Okay. It's a different spot than I was expecting. That's fine. Alright, repaint it for 220, sure. Sell it. 23,813. Okay, that's 66,000. We'll buy this. Again, I would love to, you know, kind of get this set up, you know, different ways, put some wide tires on it, etc., put the front loader on it. It's not in the cards right now, money-wise. It's just simply not in the cards. So, we'll just take it as it is. I don't want a plate on it. I don't like the plates. I've accidentally put plates on there before and don't love them at all. So we've got a tractor. That's a great start. Now we need a winch. We don't have enough money for the other winch, but we do have enough money for this one, which is fine. You know, it's a 2-ton smaller capacity, so it won't be as large of logs as we were hoping for. But we can always upgrade later, right, if we need to. But we now have a tractor, we now have a stump grinder, and we have a winch. What a fantastic day today was, man. That was some really good progress. I'm very, very happy with that. Hopefully you are too. We're going to leave the episode at this point. If you did enjoy it, make sure you smash the like and subscribe button on the case you have yet to do so. Thank you to my members. Cannot thank you guys enough. There's a link down below, as I've mentioned. My other channel is down below. Discord's down below. Everything's down there, like always. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for your continued support. It means the world. I'll see you next time.